Bortle here. Whoa, we have Campos to the channel with what deck, man?
I'm playing Fluffals.
Fluffals. What you do with it?
I won an OTS championship with it and got myself one of those nice playmats. And I've been topping locals left and right with it. And we've been getting big locals, 50 plus people.
50 plus. My goodness. Any shout outs before we begin, man?
Of course, shout out to Team Bortle. We get to have Bortle in person for this deck profile right here, which is amazing. And that's pretty much it. Shout out to the people that let me borrow cards and stuff. They know who they are. So yeah, let's get into it.
Sweet, yeah. Without further ado, please take it away, man.
First, we're going to start with the Fluffle cards. We got 1 Owl. We got 2 Ween. 2 Dolphin. 2 Bear. 3 Scythe. The only Scythe you should be playing this format. 2 Dog.
Wait, that's not Artifact Scythe, bro.
Yeah, it's Edgem Scythe, the best Scythe. 3 Penguin. And 3 Edgem Chain. So we're playing 60 cards, so we can afford to play a little more of these, which even at this number, I think I should be playing less. I think this card should be like maybe a 2 of, but then again, drawing this with that is combo. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what these do. This thing floats into a Frightfur card from the deck whenever it's sent from hand or field to the graveyard. This one is Stratos on summon or special summon for a Fluffle or Edgem Sabers. This one sets Toy Vendor directly from the deck when you discard it from your hand, or on field you attribute it set of Polymerization from the graveyard. This one lets you fusion summon during your opponent's main phase using it as materials. So you can summon a bunch of pretty decent cards. The best one you have access to is the Whale, which is a DP effect on summon, where you get to destroy 1 card on your field, 1 card on your opponent's field. And moving on, we got Fluffle Penguin, an effect that doesn't activate on summon, but once per turn you get to special summon a Fluffle from your hand, except for itself, and if you fusion with it, you draw 2 and discard 1. Amazing. Fluffle Dolphin sets Toy Vendor from the graveyard, then lets you send any Fluffle or Edgem Sabers from your deck to the graveyard. Really, really good. With Fluffle Wings, the reason why we're playing this deck. So you banish this if you have a Toy Vendor on the field, then you banish a Fluffle, you draw a card, then you send a Toy Vendor from the field to the graveyard and you draw another card. So Toy Vendor triggers off of that, letting you search your deck for a Fluffle monster. So you drew 2 cards off of this in the graveyard, and this is just like once per turn. So you're getting 1 Celestial on your turn, and then you're getting another on the following turn after you set up your broken board and your opponent doesn't break it. Or even if they do break it, you're still like following up with this stuff. So you're ending on either you're doing this on your turn, doing that on your opponent's turn, and actual Celestial.
Jeez.
So you're drawing like 4 cards just from the graveyard. So your boards may not be the scariest thing on the planet, but like the thing that puts this deck over the top is the comeback. Like the turn 3 is just unbeatable in most scenarios. So yeah. Going into the rest of the deck, we only main deck 2 hand traps at the moment, and it's 2 Ogre, because the best deck is this deck, and we needed more 3s to put into the deck to get more Cherubini access, and E-Telly is like a good card in here. I'm still like tinkering around with the list, but this is just like what I've been using. E-Telly is not in the deck right now, but it is an option. So continuing, we have 2 Illusion of Chaos, because we are playing the Souls package in this deck. So we got 2 of that guy, 3 of this, and we're playing 2 prep. We'll just fan through those whenever I get to the spells. But yeah, Toy Vendor is just like one of the best cards you could possibly send off of Magician Souls. So Toy Vendor searches any other Fluffle, which searches like pretty much all of your deck. And the only downside about Fluffals is it's a 2-card combo engine. You can't ever really do anything with 1 card in Fluffals unless you have like graveyard set up or something like that already. So what you need is all these like 0.5 or like 1.5 like card engines, like these things which like do nuts stuff with other stuff. Because you have a bunch of generic Link 2s as your Link 2s, because you're really like a pure Fluffle deck. Like if you look at the extra deck, it's pure Fluffles, you know? It's the main deck that's all this other stuff that lets you get to those Fluffle cards, that let you play with those Fluffle cards uninterrupted. Because all I care about is the 1 negate from the right for my deck, really, just so I can like play uninterrupted. Or all I care about is like getting to Toy Vendor or getting to Polymerization or something like that. That's what these cards are for. So remember, even though we are playing all these cards, we are sticking with that theme of the deck. So yeah, 3 of Enchantress go, and 1 of this. We are playing 60 cards, but I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to see these. Like I want them, but I don't want them.
Yep.
Then easy stuff. I'm playing DPE, so have to play that. Multiple Celestials. Danger Package, cute, because there's synergy in the deck at level 3, obviously with Cherubini and stuff. And then if you discard, if you use Toy Vendor lets you discard a card. You draw a card off the top of your deck. You show it. If it's a Fluffle, you get to special summon a monster from your hand, any monster. But if you don't draw a Fluffle, you have to discard it. So in the case where you draw this off of Toy Vendor, you're triggering both the effects, which is pretty neat. If you discard it off of Vendor just to use it as a thing to see what's on top of your deck, that's neat. You get a free monster off of that, and yeah, they do their job. I like having them in the deck. And then Edge Imp Sabers. Not much to it. It's just a specific material that's asked for from some cards, and there's a lot of cards that search out this card. And it's a 3, special summons itself from the graveyard, easy Cherubini access, you know, easy stuff. Alright, so that's all the monsters. Going into the spells, we're just going to breeze through all the obvious ones. Call by, it's a Scythe format, so you need like main deck outs, so that's a really good one. 2 prep, because my ratios are like really wonky right now. I would like to max out on like the best ratios, honestly. Okay. Kind of like looking at cards like Foolish Burial Goods. Like I think this should be better off at like 2, and then this at 3. But you know, there's no big event going on in in like the Texas area until the Lubbock Regionals, which is coming up pretty soon.
YCS Lubbock, plug it.
Yeah, YCS Lubbock. We're gonna see who wins it. Hopefully, it's gonna be someone from DFW, maybe someone from Team Bortle. Oh God, yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, before we can get there, we gotta fix up our decks, and right now things are looking a little rough, but we're getting there. Yeah. We gotta swap these ratios, but we'll fix it. But yeah, speaking of ratios, we're just gonna go with this as our Brave token.
Pretty
ratio.
standard, yeah.
Yeah, you know, why fix it if it's not broken? All right, next up, 3 Polymerization. And that's because we're playing 3 Patchwork. This card says Pot of Greed. It lets you search for any Edge Imp monster and a Polymerization. If you ask me what's the downside for that card, I would say it has to add both cards. That's like the only downside. And I guess it's a hard once per turn, but it's a hard once per activation or whatever. So this gets negated every now and then. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you negate that if you could with like an Omni Negate or something? But you could just activate another one. It's also searchable in the archetype. So you get the first one negated, and then you search for the second one using your Edge Imp Chain. And so you just kind of go off from there because they just wasted their negate. So yeah, going into some more fusion spells. We got 2 Fusion Destiny.
Yeah.
2 Tactics. It's just that format where this is like good going first or second, and Fluffals is just one of those decks that wins either way. And this is just like a win harder type of card, and it really like. I like using the hand rip effect more than anything because like you have so many steps before you can like actually kill your opponent in this deck. Like, not that you're not setting up negates or anything like that. You're definitely setting up negates before 5 summons. You're setting up like all this nice stuff, but at the same time, there are like just certain hand traps that you'd prefer not to see, especially because like if you're gonna go for it and use all your resources that you have and not save it for next turn, you want to make sure you're gonna win that turn. Yeah. So you look at that hand and see, yeah, I can just go for game, and you go for game.
All good. Knowledge is power.
Yeah, and then going into the Fluffle stuff, we only play 5, unfortunately. 3 of the best card in the game, Toy Vendor. Not once per turn at all, except for the on-field effect, but it's not it's per card. So if I have another one, I can use another one. And then we have Fry for Repair Shop. This gets sent off the whale, and it banishes itself to extend a Fluffle from your hand. It's all that really matters. It has an a regular spell card effect, but I almost never use that one. And then you have Miracle Fusion, but for Fluffles. Great card.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's 60 cards, of course. Going into extra deck, we got a token. And then we got Toad, Bahamut, Dolphin, and Penguin are both water, so that's a no-brainer. Same with Dweller, you know. Harbor, generic thing that we can make pretty easily. It's like a easy like inclusion in the first turn board. Then we got the fusions from here on out, it looks like, or fusions and then links. So we got Fright for Tiger. This guy pops stuff up to the amount of materials used for him. So if you're going with just the 2 normal that you need, they're popping 2, but you can go like nuts with it. You can Miracle Fusion using like basically your entire graveyard if you really want to. He also has a attack boosting effect on the field, which is relevant for going for game in certain scenarios. So next is Saber Tiger. This one is Reborn's fusion in the graveyard that was brought out successful or like correctly, and if it was brought out with 3 or more materials, it can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle, which is very interesting because with DPE you can pop this and pop a card on your opponent's side of the field for free.
My goodness.
And then continuing, we got 2 Kraken. Need to play 2 because sometimes you send this off of the whale effect because you can send a 5/4 card from main deck or extra deck to the graveyard. This card is a level 8, so we bring that back off that and then make Harbinger, in case you were wondering how to do it. We're not Harbingering with the DP. We can, in theory, because we play Dark, so we Dark back the opponent's DP, and then we overlay on top of it to answer it, without like giving them a way to pop it or anything like that. Continuing to Whale, and that's it. So he has DP's effect on summon to pop 1 card on both players' field, and it also has a send effect for a Fight Fair from main deck or extra deck. And we're just going to braze through the Link 2s. We're not playing very many, unfortunately. We just have Cherubini, Dark, Verte. These are all pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Cross Sheep's also pretty self-explanatory since we're playing purple cards. But I guess a cool play that you can do is with your DPE, if you can make this and then like make the Verte under there, and then like make the DP or whatever. If you go effect, pop the Verte, pop itself, use effect the DP, stamina phase, special effect, special summon out of your graveyard. Then you have on summon effects in the Fluffal archetype, and you also have effects of stuff that floats whenever they die. So it's really good.
It's crazy.
All right, last thing, 15 card extra, and then side deck. But we're just gonna go through it because this depends on like locals and like so Nivs,
Standard side right here.
Twins, because I'm just going to go over the themes more than anything. So the theme for this side deck more than anything, like because we're playing 60 cards, we want those high impact cards. We want those cards that where if we see them, they did something, because like we're only getting one of them. It's like how I picture it in my head, unless we side in all 15, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Any closing thoughts, Campos?
This is definitely a deck I recommend like looking at for this upcoming format, because they do some ridiculous stuff. And yeah, you might catch me playing it at YESSSS Lubbock. Who knows?
Let's go. And YCS Charlotte, let's go. IRL events are back. YCS events, that is. All right, guys. Well, you already know, if you're not part of BORTLENATION, sub for BORTLE. It's that easy and it's free. Oh, God, yes.
God, yes.
BORTLE out.